Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So the question is, how long do we have? Somebody emailed me, one of my viewers emailed me the other day, and exactly that question. How long do we have until, something happens, and how long do I have to basically to prepare to what is coming our way? It is pretty much how long is a piece of string question, because it all depends really what we're preparing or what is going to happen first. If you prep or if you just follow the general news, do you know there is a lot of things currently happening? And I mean a lot of things. Of course, we know, guys, that the current conflict that's been going on for a couple of years, there's conflicts in Gaza, there's a solar activities, there's a lot of activity in terms of the all the elites and things that are happening and things that have been reported to what everybody's preparing for. As a prepper, I think we prepare for many eventualities to which we're able to foresee to some extent, to be able to get ready for. If we take probably the main example to what currently are people worried at is actually the World War III. If you kind of look in the news, especially if you do follow certain YouTubers like from America or generally American news, to be fair, the amount of reports in there, they're saying World War III is going to start tomorrow. It's been going on for the past 5 years and nothing happened. Yes, things have escalated, but things have been escalating very gradually. Unfortunately, as one of the NATO countries, or many NATO countries, are now kind of poking the bear and kind of I would say in the way of hurrying up the conflict, if that makes sense. Obviously, we've been warned many times about not using the supplied weapons from the different countries, and yet we still looks like we're being given a go-ahead to go, or Ukraine being given a go-ahead to do that. So that kind of thing to me indicates that we're potentially a little bit closer to the war than might would think. Answering the question, guys, obviously I don't 100% know. It's very impossible to predict, and I'm not going to try to scaremonger anybody into thinking like, oh my God, it's going to happen now. Chances are, would it continue for another couple of years? I'm pretty sure it's not. Is it going to be another year? I think it's going to be a little bit less than that. Would it happen tomorrow? I would say no. Of course, as you know, guys, we're all just taking a guess, and we're trying to, as a preppers, generally trying to evaluate what's happening in the news or in the media generally, obviously providing that you follow the correct media channels. And it's still very difficult to kind of make this decision, because the things that we only get told is what we get told. And of course, all the other politicians and elite have other things in mind. So we can't really read mind of who might be the pushing the nuclear button, if that makes sense. So it's very hard to establish saying, yeah, it's going to happen like X, 2-3 weeks time. My guess is, guys, it's going to be approximately maybe 6 months time that something potentially can happen. However, guys, it could be really sooner, and nobody really knows. As generally with things like this, there will be a gradual escalation like it has been for the past couple of years, although in this instance we're sort of, at the moment we're getting there a little bit sooner. But again, anybody guesses as good as mine, really. But so long as we still have a little bit of ability to prepare, because you will, if you follow, there will be certain giveaway signs of something potentially happening. So it's very important just to keep an eye on things like that. So this is how it comes to with the conflict, okay? Obviously, there are other things that are there, guys, happening. It all depends, again, whatever, guys, you ask the question, it all depends. What are you expecting to happen? There's many other things that apart from war that can happen to us at any moment. For example, again, we're talking about the solar activity, and we've been really warned since the end of last year that the 2024 is going to be really strong in solar activity. And yes, so far it's been proven to be so. We already had a few extra big solar flares. Already a couple of countries had the issues with internet and things like that. So it is kind of happening. Or at least to what are we being told. Again, if you look at the bigger picture, guys, okay, with other things, with the elites building bunkers, again, why wouldn't you if you have the money anyway? But the whole agenda, if you notice now, the whole Agenda 2030 or Agenda 2025 is kind of gone a little bit on the back burner, but I'm a true believer still that it is still going ahead. We're just not being, it's not being fed, because the whole current situation is, let's concentrate on making war. But the whole agenda, guys, we know they said that you owe nothing and be happy. And this technically could be happening like 2025, for example. Yes, again, there was talks about 15-minute cities, and then it's all gone a bit quiet because attention gone somewhere else. However, nobody said it will be happening. And again, if you put, for example, thing there, and my thought is, guys, 2025, okay, be it say the agenda takes place from that, or 2030, it's not going to happen right away. So it's not going to be suddenly January 2025, boom, 15-minute cities. It's not how it's going to happen. My thoughts are that, say, at whatever time something will happen, an event will happen, or they'll make it happen, or they will pretend it happened, and then they will roll things from that, if that makes sense. Brings me on to the current thing about the solar flares and the potential cyber attack or outages they're warning us about. Nobody said that anybody can, or not anybody, but the elites can just turn off the electricity. You wake up one morning and you have no electricity, and it's been blamed on the solar flare, because we've been told for the past year that sun has a really strong activities. Absolutely fine, guys. Chances are there's research to prove that sun is going through some cycle, and yes, it is affecting, but at the same time, nobody says this is not a perfect opportunity for the government to introduce their you owe nothing, be happy, because this is where it will happen is electricity goes down, the banks will go down, and then they say, oh, sorry, it happened. Either due to solar activity, or they will blame this potentially on Russia for the cyber attack. So when we're talking about this scenario and we're thinking, well, how long do we have? Well, actually, this is very difficult to even imagine. It could literally pretty much happen overnight, because we don't have a plan, or we don't have an idea or understanding what they have planned in mind in terms of the time scale. They've already planned it by, say, by 2025. Who knows? Like in December this year, for example, the electricity might go off, they'll blame it on something, and then you wake up and that's it, you owe nothing. And this is when the process, I believe anyway, the process of then the 15-minute cities, if they're going to come true, or something similar to this, will start to evolve. It's not going to be instant, because then it's going to be like post-COVID or during COVID, when they started to roll up those little things. Let's to see how people react. Let's do step-by-step options to kind of get people or public to some sort of normality, if that makes sense. And I think if that were to happen, it will be the same thing. They'll make something happen, or something will happen, and then gradually things will be happening. So it's not one of those like panicky things, let's get this, anything is going to be, we're going to be in trouble like tomorrow. It's not kind of how I believe it's going to work. So there is still time to kind of get prepared in anticipation of potentially what's going to be happening. And of course, guys, there's loads of other scenarios of the things that we're preparing for, kind of the little things. But I think the questions that you asked are pretty much aimed at those kind of the big scenarios. So my answer to you guys, I think the stuff is going to be gradual. You got to read between the lines of the things that are happening, and then we'll just have to basically take it day at a time. So my advice to you, for whoever worried and unsure about the timescales, I'd say, don't worry about the timescales. Do the best you can, and do this when you can. So basically do it as soon as possible, as much as your time or money permits. And this is the best that we can do. So anyway, guys, it is a little bit weird one, but you wanted to hear my thoughts on the timescales and things. So there we have it. I've kind of opened it up to probably a little bit of a debate, because I know pretty sure the things like, obviously with the agendas of 2030, 2025 and the solar things, somewhat maybe a little bit of conspiring, but the point is, guys, those things is openly available on internet for any information. If you're unsure or don't believe, obviously just have a look. Agendas are there, everything's published on WHO, it's everywhere. It is a public forum and it's available for everybody to read. So it is a little bit mind-numbing. It's a lot of kind of reading between the lines, but it is all there. So anyway, please, guys, comment down below what you think of timescales and anything else. I love how we have our little debates in the evenings after the video comes out. So very grateful for this. Don't forget thumbs up, maybe subscribe if you haven't already, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye.